keep us low. They think that we don't know, so we gon' show them that this kingdom about to rise up. They wanna keep us low. They think that we don't know, so we gon' show them that this kingdom about to rise up. Rise, 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 rise. Messengers of Jesus Christ, fighting till we see His kingdom. They wanna keep us low. They think that we don't know, so we gon' show them that this kingdom about to rise up. They wanna keep us low. They think that we don't know, so we gon' show them that this kingdom about to rise up. Rise, 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 rise.
Welcome back. We rise. What's up, buddy?
Back in the mix. How you doing, bro? Good to see you again.
Yeah, I'm doing good, man.
Let's
you
tap
too.
it up here.
My man.
Good to see you.
Man, welcome back.
Yes, sir. We're -1 today, as you guys can probably see. And I know he's going to get a little embarrassed by me saying this, but Todd's not here today. He made the fatal mistake of challenging me to a thumb wrestling match. And I think last I checked, he was just getting out of surgery.
Right.
So I think he should be okay. I think they had to reconnect the thumb and all that good stuff. But I think he'll be back. So.
Well, it wasn't just an ordinary thumb wrestling match. It was a hot oil thumb wrestling match, right? Is that wasn't it? Wasn't ordinary, right?
I don't know where you were at and what you were doing, but
I didn't say it. You said it.
Were you wearing that Speedo from your Frisbee?
No, I don't own one of those.
Marvin showed up with his Frisbee and his Speedo.
Here we go.
And he was hot oil wrestling.
No.
Did you? What's your first?
I think Jared's gonna make a confession today. He's coming out of the. Well, I'll let you say it.
I'm not swinging. Put it this way, Marv. I put my gloves away. I think there's more important things to talk about than each other, right?
Yeah. Why not? Oh, so we're calling the truth then.
Always.
Time out on the field. I like that. Awesome.
That's it. People like us better when we're together, you know?
Yeah. And all this division and pictures and stuff.
Everybody's talking about poor Marvin. Poor Marvin. I'm getting hate mail.
Yeah. I mean, listen, my fan base is pretty heavy, bro.
Listen, I come out of my house, my tires are on cinder blocks.
You're lucky. You're like, listen.
I got love notes on my car. Leave Marvin alone. Poor Marvin.
Or else, you know?
Well, not or else, because I'm like, listen... You know, so I'm here to just call the truth.
I like that.
I don't need it.
But I don't know because you won the battle last time, so it's easy. It's like when you win the game, you hit the last bucket.
You can walk away. You walk off a winner.
So it's easy to do that. So maybe we call it truth for tonight.
What are you saying? I won.
I mean, you came prepared last week. I got to give you credit, man. You came prepared last week. You did your thing.
Oh. Well, listen, I think ahead. I think of the possibilities. So I just kind of sat back and I waited to be attacked. And
I don't know if you waited because you kind of had everything already set up. You were like general customer. You had everything set up, ready to go.
I was countering.
You had the high ground on me, and then
I had guys on the roof.
You led me right into the trap.
You brought a knife.
I felt like I was on an episode of like Game of Thrones or something. You led me right into the trap. And you took me out and you took the throne. I gotta give it. You know,
there's some slickness to that. Let's be mindful. You know, I was hyper vigilant of Marvin coming in and getting me. I just thought about it a week. I said I felt it in my bones. So I said, let me just prepare in case he comes.
I don't
swinging.
think Jared prepared for any of his fights the way he did for that contest. So. He deserved the W, bro.
So is it a white flag or not, Mom? You waved the white flag last week, so now you want to like, is it the white flag or not?
You get a chance to kind of regroup, get the troops together, and people like kind of tell you, look, you could have won that fight if you just trained a little harder, prepared a little better. So, how every great champion is. They want a rematch if they lose,
Right.
Listen, dude.
If you're talking about, but the white flag is the white flag. That's like surrender. So if you're coming back after the white flag.
Technically, it wasn't a flag. It was just some papers.
Well, I flew the flag. Where's the flag? Do you have the flag?
Oh.
Somebody give me I wasn't prepared for the white flag, but here's Marvin's flag tonight. All right. So what's going on, buddy? We're gonna. I wanna touch on Bro for It All 7. USA Boxing will be coming back, and I'm getting phone calls from a couple of heavy hitters in Rhode Island. I want to make it known now. Do you have a picture? These guys are talking, and they're coming to me with it. I'm not even saying anything. They're asking me for it. Matter of fact, the Ghost called me tonight. Is it coming on?
Yeah, he's got it up.
Yeah. Oh, all right.
Yeah, we just. Love
Yeah. Dino and Dino Gilmet, the Ghost versus Godzilla. So, anybody out there interested in seeing that match, let us know.
Now, when you go on Brawl for It All, is it like the other stuff? Is it people that have personal issues with each other, or is it just guys that say, "Hey, I want to fight somebody"?
It's two people that have a grudge that settled the dispute in the ring. So at first, Dino was a champion and Godzilla was a champion. So those two started going at it, and we made that match. And Godzilla is the undisputed champion right now. So hats off to him.
So they already fought.
Yeah, they fought. Yeah,
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
Who won the first time?
Godzilla beat Dino.
Good fight.
Yeah, it was a good fight. A lot of people thought Dino won. It was a good fight. But that's what everybody wants to see is the Ghost and Godzilla rematch. So we're thinking because we want to make sure that we can put people in the seats. So if not, I said, well, let's do it outside. We'll find a spot big enough and we'll do an outside show. Right? What's that? Farmer's Almanac? We'll try to go by that. See how that works out for us.
I like it. Good.
Yeah.
Brawl for It All coming back.
Yeah, Bro, Photo 7. Yeah, they'll be announcing soon, though. So
I hope that USA Boxing actually comes back around because we missed the gloves, right?
they're talking about doing the gloves in April. I just heard.
Nice,
Yeah. So
nice.
USA Boxing will be opening soon. We can't run an event without USA Boxing because we're sanctioned by USA Boxing. So, yeah. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah, sounds like it's going to be a bang up time. Right?
Yeah, it is.
What I might even, you know what?
Mav.
I might even make my comeback that night. You know what I mean?
I got the perfect guy for you too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna go to St. Anne's and dig someone up. I'll hold him up. Come on, you look like a superstar.
There you go. I like that.
I got you, man.
Yeah, see, you're always looking out, Jared.
That's what friends are for, buddy.
There you go.
That's what friends. Listen, I got you.
75. Don't put the
No,
extra.
you're gonna be on 76.
Oh, after that. Okay, wow.
No, he's gonna get his win. The guy's already dead.
1 in 75.
I dug him up.
Right.
Yeah, it's a win. I'm giving him a win. We got to help him. We got to get him a win.
I like that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's what friends are for, buddy.
So tonight we're gonna do a little bit of chopping it up, right? About some things that we feel that may be of interest, things that we feel can help people out there, things that we feel can shed light on some topics that you don't really get to talk about in public forums, I guess, because everyone's kind of reserved about certain things, so they gotta kind of watch what they say. But I think these things are also helpful, and they're going to be useful things to help people understand and grow.
Well, I think anything that you talk about, if it's backed by facts and data, then I mean,
but that's the thing.
What's
too.
off the table, really?
Most people, and that's what I'll get into later. Most people don't really care about facts. You know what I mean? It's almost like the facts are secondary to how they feel or what they think. You get that feeling?
Yeah, I do. That's interesting.
But I mean, I think in spite of that, I think we should all be heard. We should all have an opportunity to speak our minds on topics. And, it doesn't mean we all have to agree with each other. But if
Mm.
you don't understand what somebody else's position is, how do you make progress? If you don't try to, listen to people, and you grow by listening to one another. You don't, sometimes we just got to hear people out and take what we can take from it. And if it's positive, cool. And if it's not,
That's a good thing we have, Marv. You know, you, me, you, Hulk, and myself. How many nights we spent 2 or 3 hours on the phone together, just talking and chopping it up about life and just value, man. Just helping each other in moments, right?
right.
Stay true, like keeping it, like we keep each other honest.
And we don't even like try to do it. It just happens organically,
It's because it's in our soul. It's
Right.
who we are. It's
Right.
authentic about what we are as people, and that's why we work. Like we when you three of us are on the phone and one of us are going through it, it's like just we get each other strong. I get strong. That's because there's truth in that. Because we live in truth. Like, we try as much as we can to really,
And
truth with ourselves.
sometimes you just need something to either give you a little more push. It's just like us here as trainers in the gym. Our job is to push people past their comfort zone. Because that's where they're going to grow. Our job is to get people to, work harder and teach them fundamentals and the basics. So when we're talking amongst each other, I might miss something, and I might say, "Hey, Jared," and present something to you, and I get a different view from a different angle, but an angle that I wasn't, focused on, and say, "Oh, okay, I didn't see that, I didn't understand it like that," but now from listening to what you said, there you go.
Yeah. And that's another thing that we have. Like, I could be looking at something one way and you can say, what about this? And I'm like, oh yeah. And, but I think where the value comes in is our ability or our willingness to be vulnerable to being wrong about something or to making a mistake and saying that, you know, to look in the mirror and say, like, yeah, I'm taking responsibility for what I am and what I do. That's tough.
And not only that, it's the other thing is having those conversations. Because if you don't have those conversations, you don't get that support. You don't get that guidance. You don't get that somebody else's perspective to help you grow. So if you don't have those conversations, like I gotta say, in talking to you, and we've talked quite a bit, you're very transparent, very honest, and I like to think it's because you have a sense of trust and respect here, and I'm never going to try to steer you in the wrong direction. So, but again, you got to have those conversations, because if you don't have them, then you don't get any feedback. And tonight we're going to have some conversations, bro.
Yeah. My man.
All right, we're going to take a break.
All
We're going
right.
to come back.
All
SFBN, We Rise Podcast. See
You
in a
already
bit.
know.
Hi, welcome back. Welcome back. We Rise Podcast.
Welcome back.
SFBN.
What's
We're
up,
in
buddy?
the building. So we're gonna just get right to it. What do you think, JT? Garrett's gonna speak his
Yeah,
mind on some
let's do it.
topics, and hopefully it'll be something that'll be a blessing to everybody out there, and just an inspiration or just helpful in some way. So JT, my brother,
Yeah,
let
well,
it go. Speak your mind.
I'm one that I like to find out, facts and data, and I like to. So I looked this up, and I wanted to read a little bit. Um, the topic, what was tonight? How to raise healthy children,
I like that.
right? Right.
How to raise healthy children. Now you're not just talking about physically healthy; you're talking about mentally and emotionally healthy as well, right?
Overall,
Overall, okay.
raising healthy children. Um, what does it say? Raising healthy children is the most important part of human existence. It takes more than ensuing your children have the basic needs met to ensure children grow into well adjusted adults. Fancy clothes, expensive houses do not automatically equal good parenting. The world as understood by children is entirely shaped by the experiences provided to them by their parents. To a child, their parent caregiver are their entire world.
Mm.
All right. Consistency equals safety for a child. It allows them to understand the world. It gives them assurance that their needs will be met, that life has order, and there is predictability in their environment. It fosters resilience in children, which allow them to take on challenges with an ability to recover quickly from their setbacks. Children thrive on consistency. Consistency is more important in the social, emotional development of children. Repeated experiences in a consistent environment help strengthen a network of connections in the brain. These connections form the foundation for the development of trust in others, self esteem, behavior regulations, and many other abilities, all of which are essential skills needed for success in adulthood. Consistency provides repetition that strengthens connections in the brain. So, here we have here. Yeah, so with that being said, consistency, I like to talk about that. I like to stop there for a minute and talk about, when I thought about the consistency in raising you know, healthy kids, I wanted to take it back to me. Right? Enough about you, let's talk about me. So I wanted to take it back to me and say, what was consistent in my life?
Mm.
Instead of looking out at everybody else like everybody does and points the finger and says you need to do X, Y, and Z, look at you. So I brought it back home to me where no one else wants to do. I'll do it for you. I'll lay in it. So I said, what was consistent in my life, as a child? I had to think about that for a minute. I was like, so I think the consistent things that were good for me were sports. Sports.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that I kind of went to where I felt like secure and safe, and it was not just sports coaches that were different coaches. I felt, there was a sense of being comfortable when I was at the fields or with these other coaches and parents, and how they influenced me. That was the thing that was consistent for me. That was what helped me, was the consistency of being around people that were a little different, or not different, but lived different from me. So I was able to see how, I would go here and say, this is uncomfortable. And then I would go in these other places where I felt comfortable. And those are the places that I knew I wanted to be. And I was consistent with that. That was, one of the only things that I could remember.
So, if you don't mind,
Yeah,
it
please.
sounds like, like yourself, when you don't have that stability at home, right?
Mm.
You look for these other outlets to help you, bond and help you get that fill that void, if you will, of what you're missing. So, if in a home, it's important to have both parents on the same page, right? So if you're not on the same page, that creates an inconsistency, right? If you only have one parent, then there's a balance off. The balance is off. So, like you, I got into sports and hung out with my friends because it filled the void that I didn't have at home because there wasn't that consistency and structure at home.
So the friends were your comfort zone, and
Yeah.
mine too.
Yeah.
Friends and sports, and that was my family. Our friends were our
Right,
family.
right.
That's where we went to. We went to that. We went to our circle
Right.
for our emotional stuff, and that love that we needed, that we weren't getting in a different spot. Even if we were getting it, we didn't understand it because it was kind of foreign to us, especially as a child. Mom and dad are mom and dad. They're like, you know, they're not supposed to do anything when it's mom, it's dad. We have this, because they're mom and dad, we have this vision of someone bigger than, it's our mom, it's our dad.
Yeah,
How
Superman,
could,
like
yes.
Superman.
And, what we don't realize is that they're human too. And they were raised and brought up, and who knows what happened in their life that they didn't fix. And just because they become parents, that doesn't necessarily mean they're bad people. They might not know how to do parenting because they never fixed the affairs they dealt with. You never know what the people can. Some people go through some serious trauma. They go on later in life to have kids, and now them kids turn around, and that's our parent, and we expect perfection, and anything less than that is like, oh my God, how can you do that to me? And especially as a young kid, how do we internalize? And how do we, and this is where the problem is, like, how do we internalize that, such letdown by the people we trust and look for and look at the most? Like, when we're young, we don't know what to do with, so it brings on insecurities, it brings on different emotions that could trigger kids to go in any direction. Some adversity will cause some of them to break and others to break records.
Mm.
So,
Yeah, because you hear a lot of these sports legends, because they didn't have that structure or consistency at home. The only place they got it was on the football field or the basketball court. So they gave it 100% because they wanted to be the best. They wanted to get that recognition from society that they may not be getting from home, or just get that recognition in society so they would be accepted at home.
or maybe their only consistent thing in their life was their grandmother.
Mm.
Or,
this is my case. Yeah.
or see you.
Yeah.
So that was your consistency. That was what, that was, imagine, like, that was where you were consistent. You had your grandmother raised, your grandmother did it. And so everybody has something different with it. I think it's just how we use it. And then once we have that and we understand it, and now later on, you know, the kids that were impacted now, Marv, come on. Yeah, I gotta, this is what we do. And like, we help, we build, we help kids now that were us in our situation that go through those things. And we understood them and we understand them, Marv. And I think there's so much value in what we offer kids. And
we had just to piggyback off of that. We just had Mario here, right?
yeah.
And the confidence, the growth in him from the first time I met him till now,
Yeah.
and his athletic ability that he probably would have never knew he had he not walked in here and chased after or his mom brought him in to give him something to do and help him lose weight. And then we had Grace, the young lady I had today, 12 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, she's tall, you see it,
Yeah.
but 12 years old, very introverted, right?
Mm.
And I can see just from the last couple of weeks, her just coming out of her shell, and today just the the excitement she had hitting pads, and you can see her just building confidence and building strength, internal strength, just from being in the gym and just being around different people.
The I always tell the parents and the town and anyone that I get a lot of kids sent to me through agencies and through different departments and the truancy department and the high school and even police, North Providence Police. I get a lot of different kids referred to me, and I always tell them, like, this isn't about boxing. It really isn't about boxing. Like, when they come in the gym, boxing I use as a tool to relate and to get them to understand what you do out here will complement, and what you do in here will complement out there. And I teach life lessons through boxing.
That's what coaches are supposed to do, right? Coaches
Right?
are not just supposed
Come
to teach
on.
you the game. USA Boxing, you go through all these training sessions, right?
Yeah,
And they instill that the coach is supposed to be not just someone who teaches you the X's and O's of the sport, but they're supposed to be an example. They're supposed to be, somewhat of a role model, someone that people, a symbol of strength or stability that the children can look up to and come to, and they're supposed to be comforters and psychiatrists and all, psychologists and all those things, because you're dealing with them under really stressful, demanding situations, which most people can either make or break them, and you're pushing them to get more out of them that they don't even know is there.
And I think that I think people that experience that life, that rock bottom, that helplessness, that vulnerability, that negative emotions, all those things, I think the people that actually lived them and went through them, because you can't talk to anybody about things like that if you have never been through it. You can't read a book. A book isn't going to say this is how you deal with it, because that's not the way life goes. You have to go through it. And I think the people that go through it, that get through it, are the ones that get through to these type of kids the best.
And because we understand that there's a certain manner in how you have to encourage them and speak to them, and you always, as a coach too, or trainer, whatever, you always have to understand your student. Because everybody's not the same. Some are stronger than others. You can yell at them and joke with them or whatever, and then others are a little more fragile. So you have to kind of work around, and that's why I like to just meet with a student first and say, hey, what do you want from this? What's your expectations out of doing this particular thing? Right. And you kind of get a feel of their personality and what you can and can't do, and what motivates them and what doesn't.
You're very good at that, Mom, because everyone is different. Everyone has a starting point. Everyone has a trigger that will help them go, and everybody has that trigger that will make them shut down. So to be able to balance all that is it's unique. You're the man, Mom.
All right, so we're going to take a break. We're
Quick five, we'll be back.
FSBN.
Welcome back. We rise. Where were we,
So
Mom?
just picking up where we left off. How do you think a broken family? How do you think that impacts the children? So mom's one place, dad's another place. Mom has a difference of opinion on how things should be done than dad, and what effect does that have on the development of the child? I'm talking like a psychologist or something.
Well, I think this. I think any adult that can say how it affects a child don't really know. I don't think anybody knows. We don't know. It could be anyway. I don't know. Like, who knows? Who really knows, though? Like, you
But
know what
it's
I
got to
mean?
be to some degree like a tug of war. Like one parent has, hey, do it this way, and the other parents no, it should be, and then the children are in the middle, and they become the bargaining tool almost. I know what I went through personally,
Mm,
and definitely nothing fun,
I know. We
and
talk.
having somebody who was completely on a different page than I was, and you know, trying to keep that balance with my child and instilling good values and morals and trying to build them up, but then they go home and I'm being maybe torn down by the other parent, and the things I'm trying to build they're knocking down as soon as they get back. So I think the children nowadays, you see a rise on young kids, 13, 14, on drugs and on with antidepressants and committing
Therapists.
suicide. It's we didn't have a lot of that when I was coming up, but it seems like it's more and more the case with each generation. So I don't know where that comes from.
I think it's just. I think, you know, that type of stuff could affect children in so many ways. There's so many branches that can come off of that. That, like, I think all we can do is just really put love on the kids and just kind of put love on them and put love on the other parent, and just really just, what does God say? What is in the Bible the most? Love, right? So at the end of the day, I think if you just try to focus as much as and as hot as it is, sometimes it might be impossible. And who cares what other people do? And let them hate and let them drag you down and let them kick dirt on you, and let them just let them do it. Let them do it, but don't be them.
Mm.
Don't
Because
don't
fire on top of fire only brings more fire, right?
just take it. Just
Right.
take it and still love and still
Right.
be that guy and still keep getting better and keep being Marvin, keep being a good dad, and nothing's going to change. That's who you are, no matter what anybody does or says about you, or they can cast what do they say? You get what is it? Cast the stone. You can
Yeah.
listen. All my life I've been getting shots taken at me. All my life, for whatever reasons it is, just because. Um, when I was younger, I didn't understand, and I was already coming up with emotions all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
So those that anger back then was like, I didn't know how to control it. But so many years later now, to where I am today, I understand now because I want to be better. So for me to be better, the only way for me to be better is to look in the mirror and say, how do I fix me? How do I fix me? I take responsibility for the things I do, no matter what. Because how the hell are you going to fix yourself if you ain't taking responsibility for you?
Mm. Yeah,
How can you right? So if you want to self develop, you want to work on you. Don't point the finger at anybody. Nobody's responsible for what you've done or where you are in your life. You are directly responsible, so own it. And then I think that's the biggest part of the problem is a lot of people don't own their own stuff.
I agree. Yeah.
Why?
I think it's just human nature to have an excuse because no one wants to take that hard look in the mirror. So it's easier to say, well, it's because of how I grew up, or because my parents were really hard, or because of this, because of that. It's easier to say that than change, for them. So
Right.
for all of us, I shouldn't say for them like I'm exempt, but it's easier to point the finger and blame and use something as an excuse than focusing on the man's mirror.
And I say that because I did it so much. That's why I say it, because I was Mr. Finger. I had a big long finger. I could fix my eyebrow from over here. Right? I look like Arsenio Hall. I walk in a room, all fingers. I had 7 fingers going every day. It's his fault. Right? Everything I did. So the minute I stopped like those behaviors that were keeping me stale, because again, I kept wanting to be better. I kept wanting to, so I started eliminating things in my life. I started changing things, but there was still things that I couldn't change because I didn't understand, because my fingers were going in so many directions that I couldn't look in the mirror. So I finally realized that fixing me and not worrying about what everybody else does,
There you go.
there's power in that.
That's the ticket.
There's
That's
power in that, and that's where people struggle, because
So I want to say this. So often, there's that saying we only give people flowers when they're gone and they can't receive them, right? And typically we don't show. You could have a parent or a sibling or whoever, and you might be upset with them, and you don't get to resolve that, and they're going. So I want to take an opportunity to hand you your flowers while you're sitting here. I gotta say, as someone who raised my child by myself, you do an awesome job with your sons. You know what I mean?
Thank you, Mom.
You really are good with them. You really, committed to being a dad, committed to being a part of their lives and teaching them the right thing. And no matter what anyone says, I see it firsthand. I'm not just saying it because you're my man.
I know.
I'm telling you, I see how you are with your sons and how important they are. And, under difficult circumstances. And if anybody says anything, like I said, I can respect a man that takes care of his own. And you certainly do that.
Well, Mom, I think above all, the what really motivates me when I look in their eyes, and love is in your eye. You look at someone's eyes, you can see hate, and you can see, and the way they love me, it was just as like, come
we
on.
might have to take a break. You got the box at 2?
I'm good. Listen, I've never been so happy. I got those guys, man.
I didn't know.
But the way they love,
No.
that's my strength. Those are my strength. Man. That's God and my children. I don't need anything. I don't go anywhere. I go there. I don't go to a psychiatrist. I don't go to a therapist. I have all my marbles. I don't have to worry about nothing. I go right here, and I have my son's love and my people. I'm good. Are we going to break?
Yeah.
All right. All right, let's go.
So,
all right.
ESPN moment there. So like,
Yeah. No.
wasn't that
I'm
a whole
good.
talk show on ESPN?
So no, I just say it because I say it because the way they hug me, kiss me, and love me it just lifts me up, and I'm gonna keep getting better, and I can keep grinding for them, and that's nothing's gonna stop it. So my motivation and my stamina is never ending. It's just they know.
But what we were talking about is so many people have an excuse. So it could be easy for you to say, oh, I didn't have that in my life, so, I didn't know how to be that, so now I'm not that, so you can't hold it against me, but you never did that,
That's
You
right.
never pointed the finger, made excuses. You stepped into the role, and you're doing the best that you can.
I just knew all the things that I like, when I get my boys, it goes like this. I picked them up, they get in my car, Dad, you got the football? We're going to the field. I'm like, we're going to the field. We're playing back. I mean, I get them, and it's basketball, football. Even when we get in the house, we're sitting down, throwing a ball across the house, smashing things, and yeah, nonstop. And we cleaned their whole room out yesterday, the other day. Those are the guys. So yeah.
Listen, man, you're doing your thing, bro.
Hey, man.
I gotta respect that, you know.
Being a dad and being a parent is like the best, the greatest love of all.
So,
what do we got, Mob? What are we doing tonight?
I'm gonna touch on a few things when we come back.
All right.
You know, it kind of you're talking about people not wanting to self-analyze, and the issue is truth. You know, people hiding from the truth and not wanting to accept the truth. You know, so they make excuses, or they'll do something to give themselves. Oh, I was drunk, so that's why that happened. Or I was mad, and that's what. But the truth is, it's usually something else. So let's take a break. When we come back, we'll touch on that a little bit.
Interesting.
SFBN.
They think that we don't know, so we gon' show them that this kingdom bout to rise up. They wanna keep us low. They think that we don't know, so we gon' show them that this kingdom bout to rise up. Rise, 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 messengers of Jesus Christ, fighting till we see His kingdom. They wanna keep us low. They think that we don't know, so we gon' show them that this kingdom bout to rise up. They wanna keep us low. They think that we don't know, so we gon' show them that this kingdom bout to rise up. Rise, 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 rise,
We are back.
Welcome back. Legendary boxing. That's where we are.
We're back.
SFBN.
See, Todd it just flows when he does.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, he's
Hulk,
good,
where
right?
you at, man? He's probably.
Yeah,
wait
Hulk.
a minute. I just got the message.
Is Hulk here? Where is he?
No, he's out of surgery. They put his thumb back on, and he's going home to rest.
Did you see his his Halloween costume?
No, Hulk's got a Halloween.
Hey, you didn't see it?
Well, why is he wearing that in March though?
Well, it was
he's a little either a little late or a little early.
wait,
A lot early.
where'd he go? Oh, I think it's over here.
I thought you were going to say St. Patrick's Day outfit.
Hold on, where is
He's all
he?
dressed up as an Irishman?
Yeah, Hulk's he's
You saw his Tigger outfit.
Oh, I didn't see that one.
Right.
Cute. Listen, look at the underwear.
Look at the. You don't want to see Tigger. I'm not gonna go there. We're gonna leave that one.
I think he'll be riding down here if you put that one on.
I'm not right. No way. I'd come out here with a helmet.
Surgically
on.
repaired thumb and all. He'll be right here on that one.
Listen, I have this place surrounded. I'd have to leave on the roof. So, what do we got, Mom?
So I'm gonna
Talk
pick
to
up,
us.
Yeah, we're gonna show a few quotes and then I'll get into it. Let's see. All right. Thank you for that. So, the first picture we saw says, I'm sure you guys can read, but I'll read it anyway. The truth can cost you your life, and that's why so many people are afraid to speak it. And then we went from there to, I'm not sure what order it was in, and you should know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. And then the next one was woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that and put darkness up for light and light for darkness, and put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. So I'm gonna just try to expound on that for a little bit for a second here.
Interesting topic, buddy.
So truth is something that, the old movie clip, I want the truth, and Jack, you can't handle the truth, and most people think that they want the truth, or they are truthful, but in reality most people run from the truth because the truth exposes things, right? It sheds light on things that people don't want light shed on. And in today's society, truth is exchanged for things like, well, I think, I believe, I feel, the way I was taught, and those things become their truth to them, but not the truth. You know what I mean? And I look at some of the things that we deal with in society, and how even the power structures don't tell the, the general public certain things, because they say, well, it's best that they don't know this and they don't know that, and we keep this information from them because they can't handle that kind of information. So a lot of things are kept in secret. Some said to be for our benefit, but some are just because, like I said, that truth might expose things that people don't want to be exposed. So when you think about like how society is nowadays and how people are, when you try to explain something to somebody, you could have all the research done, you could have all the information and put hours and years and time into it, but if they don't want to receive it, right, it's just not going to go anywhere. And people will just stiff arm the truth where they can get some knowledge, because you can only grow mentally if you accept and grasp the whole of the truth, right?
Truth being whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever the truth is.
Whatever it is, you can only grow in that state.
And even if you're not being truthful outwardly to you, be truthful to yourself.
Right.
Be truthful to yourself. Because if you lie to yourself, you believe your own lie eventually, right? Now you've told the lie so much that it's part of who you are. It's this is the and you've created this illusion in your own mind, and of something that really never existed, that you made up, but you've consistently went to it. So now you believe it instead of just owning it and saying, okay, this is the truth. And even if you just admit it to yourself and fix it, you don't have to outwardly say it.
But it's like you said, because once you acknowledge something, that means you have to do something, right? So it's like somebody saying, well, I'm overweight. So they'll just lie to themselves, and they'll buy bigger clothes, or, they'll do other things to mask the fact that they're overweight. Because once they acknowledge that, what's one of the first steps? I know you don't like it. But...
Are you saying that because we just came from big and tall? Dude,
once you acknowledge it, then you have to do something about it, and a lot of people don't want to put the work in, so they'll just hide from the reality, and that's a sad thing, because again, the more you oppress or suppress the truth, the more you live in the matrix, the more you live in that fiction, and you're never going to make any ground, you're never going to make any progress there, because you can always lie to yourself. We're conditioned kind of to do it.
Of course, I think truth has so much to do with being vulnerable.
There you go. That's it.
And vulnerable. When you're vulnerable, you're uncomfortable. But I was taught in my life to I had to train myself. And anybody who knows me knows that I had to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to go through that. That means you're going to be vulnerable. That means you have to be vulnerable. To be vulnerable takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage, and it's so easy to not to go back to what? Truth. That vulnerability turns that truth into a lie or into a your own whatever it is.
But vulnerability also opens you up for people to attack. So if you expose certain things about yourself, now you're exposing yourself to ridicule, to somebody say, "Oh, see," and so that's why it's so easy. But again, I think a lot of people are realizing as a mechanism, I'm going to put my truth out there on my own, so no one's going to be able to use it against me because I already put it out there. It's already there, and that way I can put it out there in the manner that it should be, not in the manner what somebody else thinks.
Or not the manner that somebody else or something else or some paints you as. It doesn't matter what anybody else says or does. Be be vulnerable. Be that person. A lot of people think like, Jared, I'm a boxer. I'm, all that stuff. But to be able to lay in my own shit and basically, own my stuff, I think it's so much power in that. There's so much power. That's why I'm able to help so many kids, and that's why I'm able to help so many children and young ones that come broken that don't understand. I've been there, you know. I can relate. So I know how to do it. I know how to get up. I know how to get off the canvas. I know how to, there's it's not easy. It's not easy. You have to have a will and a why. But if it means that I have to be vulnerable, or if it means that I have to be truthful to myself to get to where I want to be as a better person, as someone who can grow and learn, I don't care. Boxing don't mean nothing to me. Being tough means nothing to me. Being Jared means nothing to me. I'd rather be vulnerable and be able to grow as a human than to put my ego in front of anything and say, or my pride and say I'm perfect and I don't make mistakes. None of us hit the bullseye. Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody's going to fall. There's only one perfect. God is the only one that hits the bullseye. Every time we're all going to fall short.
And I just want to carry that to another level, right? So here's how the world is when it comes to facing truth. They would rather kill and lie and cheat and do whatever they can to keep the truth from coming out. So if you're, and we kind of indoctrinate our own children. So if your child does something, right? Let's say when you were younger, and did you do that? And when you say yes, you get beaten or you're on punishment. So what's going to happen the next time you say, did you do that? And they did do it. They're going to say, no.
Yeah.
Because, I remember what happened last time I told the truth.
Yeah.
I paid the price for it. So we actually
we're programmed to think the truth is something that isn't good.
Right. We're backwards. So think about this, right?
Makes so much sense.
We had this conversation before, right? If you're a child and you're with another group of children and so 3 or 4 people in the group do something and you say, "Ooh, I'm telling," you go back and say to the grown-ups, "Hey," and there might be something that might save their lives because they might get hurt or injured really bad, and they call you a tattletale, right?
Yeah.
If you're in business and you find out that the company or the people that you're doing business with are doing unethical things in the business, they don't call you a good guy. They call you a whistleblower.
Right.
So they have all these. Uh, um, if you're someone who witnesses a crime or some, something happened and you go and report it, you're called a snitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but all of these things are just people telling the truth, telling the reality. Now, I'm not saying if you engage in criminal activity and you know the risk, and then you get caught and you throw other people under the bus to so you don't get in trouble. I don't condone that.
Right.
That's not that you knew what the risk was when you got in.
Right.
But so many people look at the truth as a negative thing and the lie as a positive thing,
It's because it's easy. The lie is easy. The lie is just.
Is it really though? Because
No, because it turns into a lot of branches. So the lie really isn't easy because now you got to live with that lie for the rest of your
not only
life.
that, you got to remember what you said.
And you got to remember, it's a life of internal suffering because you'll be internally suffering because of a lie that was a lie and that it might have done serious damage or it might not have, or but who's to say what the serious damage is, because everybody handles things differently. So I mean,
So you spoke about only one that's got it right, perfect and good, and that's God, right? So here's a record of an event that took place, and whether you believe it or not is up to you. But Pontius Pilate, who was like the governor of that day, they arrest Christ on felonious charges, right? They said, well, you committed blasphemy. Well, no, he told the truth, but they didn't like his truth, right? So they take him and they put him in cuffs. They arrest him, and Pontius Pilate meets him and realizes this guy's an innocent man, and I don't want to have any part of persecuting or prosecuting an innocent man. So, but he understood that what the crowd wanted, the people wanted him to be punished. Not because he did wrong, but because he did right. By him doing right and speaking truth all the time, it exposed their wickedness and exposed their lies. So they were like, we got to get this guy out of here. He's bad for business.
Whoa.
So Pilate said, all right, I know what I'm going to do. This is going to be a no-brainer. I'm going to take one of the worst guys in our community, and I'm going to put him on the stage next to Christ. I'm going to take Barabbas and I'm going to ask the people to choose. Now, surely they're going to choose the good, righteous man over the lifelong criminal, thief, murderer, etc. Of course, they're going to choose this guy. So he has Barabbas brought to the stage, and he has him. So, which one do you want me to let go? Jesus Christ or Barabbas? And they said, give us Barabbas. And I know he's like, wait a minute, you must have hear me right. Barabbas has been a thief and this and that from his youth. That this man, he has committed no crime, but his crime was what? Truth. He spoke the truth all the time, and that truth just rubbed people the wrong way. Because what did I say? Truth exposes things.
It's right.
And so they said, give us Barabbas, and we said, but what about Christ? Crucify him. And what Pilate said was, hey, may his blood be on your hands and your children. Like, I'm out of this. This is what you want. But instead, it's taking a stand and saying, no, I'm not going to kill an innocent man. He gave in to the crowd. But anyway, we're going to take a break, come back, and
wrap it up.
SFBN.
Power.
See you in a minute.
Deep tonight, Mom.
Welcome back. We Rise Podcast, SFBN.
My man.
Yeah, so I mean, just a little reflection on everything that was said tonight. I think, we touched on some tender topics, and I think that hopefully not our normal show of, fun and jokes and games, but hopefully we gave somebody out there something to chew on and something that was beneficial and helpful to them.
Yeah. Yep. Amen.
What do you got? What'd you get from it?
I think it was a good show. I think it was it's positive. I think things. This type of stuff should be talked about more. I don't think I don't think it's talked about enough. I don't think it's shared with people enough. I think a lot of times the world and people are moving so fast and everything's going so that it's so easy for everybody to go like this with the 70 fingers. But I think to really just self-reflect. If you want to be a better you, fix you. Don't fix everybody around you. If you fix you, everybody around you, everything will take care of itself. But look in the mirror.
Well, if you fix you, you're not going to be worried and focused on everybody else. You're going to be continually working on yourself. And then people will see the change in you, and that's going to cause them to react differently because of what they see in you.
Yeah, and I believe in that. I think, it worked for me. So, what we got? Let's close out with
Mr. Hulkster. He's not here with us. Like I said,
little tribute to the Hulk tonight.
Yeah, he shouldn't have challenged me to thumb wrestling, but I mean, you live and you learn, and I'm sure he's going to be okay. The surgery went well, like I said, but in honor of the Hulkster, we're going to have to close it out in the manner that he would. And today's verse is one we already showed earlier, but we're going to read it again, and that's John 8:32. And most people get this wrong, believe it or not, right? They'll, because they don't know. They'll say you should know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. But that's not what the scripture says. It says, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. We've already been set free, but the only shackles are in our minds and because of the way we think. And once we release those shackles of our mind and become liberated, then we're going to be made free.
There was, the shackles in the mind. There was a point where I wanted to be happy. I never knew what it was to be happy, and I would do anything to get to that point. And I had to do some really hard, deep work and on me. And today, I mean, how you doing?
We're working, right?
Yeah,
we're works in progress, man.
Listen,
as long as you have breath in life, you can make your now better than your yesterday. You can't change the future because it hasn't come yet, but you can start right now, make your now better than it was yesterday.
Yeah,
and focus on the man in the mirror and not everyone else. And I think
the man
once
in the mirror,
you do that,
yeah, that's where the growth is. That's where you can start growing, and we could leave them other demons behind. Stop. You gotta leave the darkness. There's nothing on the dark. The dark is through denial and all that other ugly stuff and all that. Get out of there because there's nothing there. Even you can hide in there in the shadows, but it'll still come out inside your soul somewhere down the line. So
you gotta purge yourself of it all.
You gotta purge yourself of it all.
Thank you guys for watching. Until we meet again next week, hopefully the Hulkster will be all healed up by then.
Yeah.
And he will not make the mistake of challenging me to thumb wrestling contest.
He's taking flowers too. Was he in
Everybody
Boston?
send your well wishes, kind of just to give him some lift his spirits up a little bit.
He's in Boston General, right?
Yeah.
It was a serious surgery break.
I mean, listen.
I know.
You know what I do. So anyway.
It was slippery too.
We'll see you next week. A We Rise Podcast, SFBN Network.
They wanna keep us low. They think that we don't know.